social media. Because the world is already there, and likely you along with them, how can we best use these platforms for good? A great example of how to use our social media presence comes from the book of Numbers. In Numbers chapter 13, we find the story of the 12 spies. And we know this story, right? Someone from each tribe of God's people was selected to go and spy out the promised land. And upon returning, two conclusions were made. Caleb and Joshua said, yeah, things are tough. There are strongholds and armies, but we have faith that God will deliver as he promised. So let's move forward, let's have faith, have hope. God's going to take care, let's go. They were positive, optimistic, and encouraging. What about the other 10? They were negative, hopeless, and the challenge was just too much. In this story of the 12 spies, we can easily identify Caleb and Joshua. We remember them. And why? Because they were faithful. They had hope. Did you know that the Bible names all 10 of the other spies? They're listed right there in Numbers 13. Why don't we know their names? Because they were faithless, pessimistic, and sad. These guys wanted to elect a leader to take them back through the desert and submit themselves back into slavery in Egypt. Can you imagine? It's also no coincidence which, among those present that day, actually made it into the promised land. It was the two faithful, positive, hopeful, encouraging guys. So let's talk about some ways we can be positive spokespeople online. First, some guidelines. Understand this. No matter how high your privacy settings are online, anything you put onto the internet will not be private. Therefore, remember 2 Corinthians 5:20 tells us that we are ambassadors for Christ. So anytime we do something online, we should treat it the same way as if we were doing it in a completely public place. And what we do doesn't just reflect us, but it reflects the God we claim to serve. That being said, you need to think before you post. Anytime you're about to write something on Facebook, share an article or a link to another site, and anytime you prepare a tweet, write an email, or even post a picture, ask yourself these questions. Is what you're about to post true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and is it kind? Think. Now, take a few seconds and consider your online presence. Would someone know that you are a Christian based on your social media presence? What values do you reflect on your online profiles? And would someone like Christians based on your conduct online? Now, after thinking about all of that, also ask yourself this. Are you making the most of your digital influence? Now, it's no coincidence that the most popular online personalities are categorized as digital or social media influencers. Not long ago, I saw a contest where Southwest Airlines was looking to reward you with free flights and hotel stays if you were willing to document it all and post about your experience online. However, in order to sign up to be considered for this project, you needed at least 2,500 followers on Instagram. You needed to be a social media influencer. Now, there are people that I know, and maybe you do as well, that we only know because of their online profile. Without Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, they would be nobodies to us. Many of them have their area of specialty. One YouTuber I follow is Marques Brownlee. I've been watching his videos for years. He makes videos about consumer electronics and videography. He does reviews and creates other tech-based artistic content. Because I've been watching him for years, I've seen his channel grow immensely. I was there when he went to college and talked about things he was learning in some of his classes. I watched how he utilized his apartment to create videos for his channel. And in the last few years, following his graduation, I've seen his viewership explode in how he has a dedicated studio to do all his work in. And it's just that, his work. Marques easily makes over $1 million a year making tech videos. But here's why I mention him. If he reviews a smartphone and says it's bad, me, along with 10 million other people, will not buy it. That's pretty significant. One video, less than a few minutes, can sway the buying power of 10 million people. What about you and me? Well, maybe we don't have 10 million followers or even the 2,500 that Southwest Airlines needed for their contest, but it shouldn't stop us from sharing things because what we share can reach all depths of the internet as well. How do we do that? The same way we might try to do that offline, by engaging with people in a relational way. You see, the appeal of social media is that it speaks to a basic human need, and that is to connect and to share. Maybe you're linking up with old school friends, or perhaps you're participating in interest groups or mother's group, a car repair group, whatever. Or maybe you're just online to share your life experiences with friends and family. In those communities, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, you are representing God with your actions and words. So if instead of complaining about the restaurant you just went to, you determine to find something positive in your day to share, something that is really nice, very encouraging, it lifts other people up and makes them glad to be your friend. Look for ways to be among the people that brings joy and hope to our world, not sadness, fear, and death. As a Christian, the internet is not the place for politics. Nobody likes it, or the people that post stuff about it. Over 80% of people surveyed stated that their political stances wouldn't change based on what a person stated or shared about a particular politic, no matter what. It's incredibly divisive. By choosing a side in a political matter, you instantly cut off half of the people that you may have had influence with. It's just not worth it. And the reality is, we have something better to share. I have a question for you. Has God done something significant in your life, like ever? My answer is straightforward. Yes, He has. So let's find a way to positively and encouragingly share that with others. Social media isn't the place to complain about your church, the NAD, the General Conference, or anything else affiliated with our church. It isn't the place to be rude, hateful, or negative. If you can remember that the internet is a mission field, posting negativity over our issues would be like going door to door, ranting about how much you disagree with things that are happening in your church, and finishing up by saying, "Hey, would you like to come visit this church with me?" No way, they're not going to do it. Things aren't perfect in our church, and we know that. But be missional, be winsome. If you have a bone to pick with someone, go pick it directly. But don't blast it in a public place. Before you post, think. Is what you're about to post true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and is it kind? So how can we positively aid the work of digital evangelism? I'll see you in the next one.